my speech is done. This is pretty much all about me, the World Game. Janine, over to you. I'm also a first-timer, so I'm very nervous. I'm going to call this speech my superpower, and I hope by the end of it I've got to that superpower. All right. Up top one. Cool, thank you. I'm very content with my life. I've loved, lived, mothered and will die wanting for nothing. Life is about passing on what you've learnt, and I hope I can show you a lot of great things that I've learnt and will help you find your superpower. A few things about me, a lot of soccer in that. Mum FC, my club, the hat, goes everywhere with me. When my club merged with Murdoch University in 2019, it became a whole mouthful of Melville City Football Club and Murdoch University. So Murdoch University, Melville City Football Club, shorten that to Mum FC, which is me. I'm a mum. I was the only mum at the time. No one else could see that was funny, right? So it took a few years before there was some girls and mums playing, so I felt pretty cool about that. This baby here is my beastie. A couple of years ago, and the old family wagon moved on. It was like time to invite me into the household and out into the four-wheel drive track. So my daughter, who's now 15, absolutely hates it and will refuse to come with me after the first trip where we went up and down and got stuck and went up 45-degree everything. And man, I loved it. It was great. New lease on life, but she's like, I'm never doing that again with you, Mum. I'm cool with that. Found my own space. So, these two pictures here, I love these pictures. Bottom, that's me when I'm 13. This is me when I'm a lot older. But 40 years later, I've got a whole bunch of the same ladies, and I'm sitting next to the same person that I am there. That was not planned. That's just how we sat down and played football again 40 years later together. Pretty cool. Moving on in my life, I seem to do things in decades worth. So radio, I started when I was 13. No, not 13. 18. Pretty young. And I've been doing it now for 35 years. And I love it. I can speak to lots of people on the radio, and I can hide behind one of these, but there's not one of these there. So I'd like to get better at this part. The show's the longest running soccer show in Australia. I think I'm the only female hosting. Back then I definitely was. I think I am still now. Lots of podcasts and things like that, but a live radio show put together on a day a week is something pretty special. I love doing it, and I speak to a lot of people that way, and I get to know a lot of people and share their stories, which is fantastic. I can be playing football and a referee comes up on the soccer field, because I still play, and he shakes my hand and I'm like, who are you? Besides the referee. And he goes, I'm listening to a radio show. And I'm like, how cool is that? So hopefully that's developed a pretty good relationship. I've never got sent off yet, so that's good. I was on L plates for a while with the radio gig. After being thrown in the deep end, it really was a deep end station, 100 FM. It was located in the old Fremantle Council building near the Stirling Bridge, and it really was a dungeon. It was small, it was down a sharp flight of winding stairs to the single studio the team crammed into. That was definitely a deep end for me. I was the only female and the youngest member of the team, and I was just thrown in to sink or swim. Winding down those stairs really terrified me and made me nervous at first, but I also loved it. The challenge of doing something new was inviting, and being captain of my state soccer team at the time, I toured a lot, and I was totally excited to talk about soccer. So they got me back week after week, and I talked about soccer. To anyone that wanted to listen, I think the nervous excitement thing is just something that's part of my psyche. I step onto a soccer park and I'm nervous and I'm excited and I love it. It's a test of your learning. I love that and I live for it. That's me now, feeling pretty comfortable. And this is some of the guests I have in the studio, some of my team. They change from week to week. 2 hours we talk football every Saturday in the morning. And I have people from other clubs, I have national coaches, I have news presenters, all kinds of people come and have a chat. They chat on the phone or they come into the studio. A couple of people that have come through my program made me feel pretty proud. One was a very encyclopedic Anno Dong who was 16. She escaped from Uganda with her family. And sport and radio is something that she found comfortable with me and an opportunity to find herself. She now works with Football Australia in media and she trains young footballers in media and helps them be the best they can be. And there's another young lady as well. This young lady, Miranda Templeman. She's about 17. She plays for the Young Matildas, which is Australian women's young soccer team. And she wanted to learn a little bit more about what affects football, so she came in, wanted to learn. And now she's being taught by Anne in media at Football Australia. And hopefully she'll be at the Women's World Cup. Hope so. And I'll go like that. That'd be pretty cool. My take home out of all of this is something Anne said to me: allow people the space to find themselves. So hopefully I'm doing that. Excuse me one sec. Playing football. When I was 15, I tried out for the under-15 junior state team. Didn't make it. I was a pretty good footballer, soccer player. I was taken aside and told I was too cheeky. I was, totally. But to get told when I was 15, when I wanted to make a state team, that hurt. But doubled my efforts. Went back and tried for the women's state team. And I made it. And I'm the longest serving state team captain. Not now, when I was younger. And I got to play against some Australian players in that team. I worked hard. To have the opportunity to be included in that was incredible. And I appreciate it. I always want more out of life. I want to grow, and that means testing your limits, overcoming fear. I'm still very scared at doing this. I am inwardly showing lots of fear. But that's part of growing. After playing football for about 7 years, I wanted next level football, and it couldn't be found here in Western Australia. I went to university, I studied sports science, got my degree, business, diploma, degrees in this and that and whatever. And while I was studying, I was selected to play for the Australian team. I went to Canada. It cost me $5,000 at the time. I worked my bottom off to get there. But unlike sports now at top level, like Matildas, Australian women's soccer team, you're flown here and there, and the privilege is paid for by Australia. I was the vice captain of the Australian team. I was very proud about that. When we went away with the team, we got whacked. We got hammered. We played against people like Mia Hamm, who's an icon of American football soccer. They still call it soccer there, actually. But I come away thinking that I could do better. I reached out to clubs in Europe, United Kingdom over 12 months, wrote to them. This was before mobile phones and internet. So there was a lot of translating happening, as a lot of my friends doing late night phone calls for me. And I got some trials over there and went and played football over there. I was pretty emotional when I got there. There was more tears. I was at Milan train station going blub, blub, blub. Mum and Dad blubbed back to me, funnily enough. But gave me support that I need, so I played some amazing football. When I came back here to Australia, stepped back into playing state team football, and I got selected to play for Australia. Being interviewed by SBS, pretty cool. That's my daughter. She's about 15 now, she's about 8 there. Same cheek, can you tell by the stance? It's crazy. I went to a talent ID camp with Tom Simoni, the national coach at the time, and I was selected to play and train with some pretty amazing players, my idols. I didn't make the cut. And again, that hurt, but I understood. I still had a ways to go in my life. And that's cool, another challenge, got to step up again. So, after trials in Europe, coming back and playing the best football I'd ever played, still had some growing to do. Living in Western Australia, it's a tough gig. It costs money to get players to the other side of Australia, it costs money to get out of Australia and play football, and you have to be better than players elsewhere. Same with other sports. So I got it. Time to move on in my life, I think. I made something of that though. The coach at the time, Tom Simoni, is a pretty good guy. He had to tell me I didn't make the cut. So I was doing it on my radio. So I said, hey Tom, can I come on and be a guest on my show? That was after I finished crying, of course. And he did. And that was a few years ago. So he and I are pretty decent friends now, and we talk a bit on the radio. He's coached New Zealand national team, he's been to America. He's back in Australia coaching now. But there was a good thing that came out of it. Take home is make the most of your opportunities. I got some opportunities out of that. I played good football, I met some amazing people, I travelled the world. And then, time to move on. Moving on was becoming a coach, becoming a mentor, becoming a role model. Didn't think I'd ever do those things. I think when you're an athlete, probably pretty selfish about things. You just focus on your own thing and becoming the best you can be. Love's in my life, my daughter, and my business. I own a manufacturing firm, run the family business, 4 generations with Rose, my daughter, in there. And also got a hardware business up and going now, which is doing pretty well for itself. And this is on one of our soccer tours. I've travelled with teams all over the world, and Rose, since she's been around, has always come with me. This is one of the mountains in New Zealand, and the Tibetan Prime Minister was travelling there at the time. Don't think that's him, but he was up there at the same time, literally 10 foot away from me, so I'm going to brag because no one can tell, right? But that was pretty cool, and to stand on a mountain next to a Tibetan monk, yeah, that's pretty amazing. And this is my daughter when she's younger. I've been her coach for a while, and she came and played in my football team last year for the first time on the right there, and she gathered some respect for her mother, that mum's a strong person. She might not always run faster, but she's got a good constitution, and to play women's football as a kid, then you have to have a little bit more than just a cockiness about you. You have to have something else. Coaching, good team spirit. I like to think that I can help my girls get confidence in themselves and play better as a team. Maybe not be the best soccer player, not be a Sam Kerr, but contribute to the team and feel like they can speak up when they need to, be included. I've been coaching for about 10 years now, and the more I coach, the more I learn, the more I discover about myself. We always have a wind-up at the end of every season, and girls bring some food, we play a friendly match with the parents, recognise individuals and all the volunteers. I always end up crying there too. There's a lot of crying in this story, isn't it? I love those kids. After a season watching them learn to like each other, work as a team and work for each other, they become a family, my family. Then we end the journey. Of course I'm going to cry about that. I never get through the speech. There's always breaks. It makes me nervous. But I like to let everyone know they had something special to give to the team. That can take a while. But everyone listens, and each player's journey is the team's journey. The take home from this is that I recognise it's part of me, and it shows how much I invest into my role and the team. My daughter, now 15, is an immense force of mental and physical energy, thoroughbred with grace and skill. She said to me, "Mum, you've created a comfortable space where the team feels they can speak up." Well, that was pretty cool for a 15-year-old. I started to think maybe a little something of that should be fostered. I'm still reeling from the fact that she gave me a compliment and she's 15. These are people that inspire me. That's Sam Kerr, national Australian footballer, now playing professionally in England. Got a $1 million contract with Chelsea. One of the coaches there is Tanya Oxtoby, whom I played football with here in West Australia, and she's now moved to Chelsea and is probably in a $1 million contract along with Sam. Look how high that athlete is jumping. It's amazing. That's passion and inspiration right there. This guy here, he's got crazy talent, a little bit of aggression and silliness about him. Leighton Hewitt, a lot of passion in there. That's what inspires me. But I need to be able to have something that inspires others. It's got to be a superpower. It's got to be something special. When Rose said what she did to me, I thought, well, maybe I just keep creating opportunities for the kids. They feel comfortable, they feel confident, they can feel like they want to be part of the team, they can get better. I never applied any pressure on Rose to play football, never. I totally loved if she would say, "Mum, I'm going to become a Matilda." Whew, that'd be pretty cool. Nah. But in the last 12 months, she said, "Yeah, I might try some state team trials, Mum." So that's identification of be the best of her age group. That's pretty cool. My mum's advice to me was keep a straight back, don't head the ball and be humble. I'm still working on number 3. My young charges come and play football, not because they're good footballers, they come because they feel welcome. They stay because they feel respected. They speak because they have been given a space where they feel comfortable. I've worked hard personally to be included in things and succeed. I'm pretty ambitious. But not everyone has the opportunity to even start that journey. So a little something actually snuck up on me, like becoming a coach and a mum. Maybe it's not so little, maybe it should be shared. It's not really a superpower, it's about being included and how that makes you feel. Empowered. Empowered to start your journey. Now I'm going to redirect. Something to finish on that's so cute. My daughter's 2 rabbits. The dude on my right, he's big, he eats all my daisies. He's going to become Stu one day if I can ever catch him. And this dude here, he's got the biggest ears. I'm never going to catch him. Double trouble. That's me. Thanks, everyone.